All right. Hello. I am live and welcome to my channel, Inviting Possibilities. My name is Rochelle, and today is number 22 of my 30-day challenge. Wow. I'm coming closer to the end, and that's crazy and awesome, and yay. Um, I've decided that I want to do another soul story today. After the one that I did yesterday about addiction, I've been thinking a lot about about the whole struggling with addiction, just the tendency towards addiction. And the story that I wrote was, very personal to my own process around what I have gone through and coming out of it. And um, and I know there are a lot of people who can relate to one extent or another. So the thing with addiction is that I believe that it stems from a feeling of not feeling in control, of feeling like, well, like a victim, to circumstances, to life, to whatever the whims of the people around us are. And the thing about the victim mentality is that it's very much a um, it's a disempowering mindset. It's that things are happening to us, that things are being done to us, that um, we're just I want to say another word other than victim, but we're a victim of circumstance, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's often this kind of poor me mentality, or, well, this is just how it goes. I'm just going to have to suck it up and deal with it. And what I have come to learn is that we are all, we are the creators of our reality. That everything that we see around us, that we perceive, that shows up in front of us, good, bad, beautiful, ugly, it's all a reflection of what's inside us. And so, any circumstance that we find ourselves in, no matter what it may seem like, in some form or in some way, we have created that, directly created that. And when we can actually take responsibility for our own hand in everything that happens in our life, then we are able to take back our power. We are no longer powerless to circumstances. And we are able to make different choices based on this different perception. We are able to step outside of this victim mentality and begin to really make choices and act in a way that is empowering to us and actually moves us towards our our joy, our true happiness. I say all this as someone who has been really good at being a victim in life. And hence, I have struggled with addiction for a very long time. And it runs in my family, and I see it. And as I heal, as I process and learn more about um, how it is for me, then I'm able to see it more clearly in others, like in my dad, for example. And so I just want to say that there is, like I said, there is a way out, a way forward, a way to transcend or transmute this sort of attitude of, oh, yeah, I have no control in my life. Things just happen to me. So I'm going to read this soul story. And I mentioned in another video that I was having trouble, and I read this, and it actually helped me feel better. And I kept feeling like I think I should share this. And I feel like it dovetails with, again, with the soul story that I just read yesterday about uh, addiction. So, in case you haven't tuned into any of my other soul stories yet, I choose my theme first, and then I pick tarot cards at random, and I write the story based on the images of the cards. And so far, I've always used the Osho Zen tarot deck. I really like the images. This is when I was taught to do this. So this was the deck that I started with, and I just like it. It works for me. Maybe I'll try something different eventually. But um, as I read the story, I will hold up the cards so that you can get an idea of where the story came from. So here we go. All right. And I'm going to have to turn a page. So sorry for the loud turning page sound. All right, here we go. Sorry also for the lighting is funky. Once upon a time, there was a victim who sat alone staring up at the stars. She longed for autonomy and the ability to forge her own path, like the shooting stars that streaked across the sky. But she felt trapped, bound to her suffering, much like the lotus leaf that she sat on was bound to the earth. Until one day she found herself face to face with her mirror image, but in masculine form. As she gazed into the eyes of the other, she saw compassion and understanding, for he too had felt trapped and bound to his suffering. In that moment, they realized they could support one another in rising up out of their bondage. They embraced, their hearts seeming to merge into one, with wings spread wide, ready to take flight. Just then, lightning filled the sky. They were struck by several bolts that tore them apart and sent them crashing to the ground. The unity they had found seemed irreparably damaged and destroyed as everything around them went up in flames. Once again, as always, they were victims of circumstance, and thrown back into their individual suffering. But as they lay broken and in pain, they looked up to see a figure high on a cliff. He was enamored by the beautiful bunch of white flowers he held in his hand, and therefore didn't see that he was about to step off and plummet to his death. They wanted to warn him, but he was too high up to hear them, and so they could only watch and wait for tragedy to strike. To their amazement, he didn't fall, but remained balanced on one foot, all the while gazing at the bouquet in his hand. It was then that they realized he had an unbreakable trust in the beauty and rightness of all things, making him impervious to fear and suffering. And because of that, he would never fall. The moral of the story is this: a victim will always suffer. For the victim only wants the good, but is always bracing for the bad, rather than trusting in the beauty and rightness of all things, in change itself and whatever it may bring. And it is this trust that allows a person to stay balanced and focused on beauty, thereby bypassing any and all suffering. So, yeah, that's my story. Remembering to I just read it. What did I read? Trusting. Trusting in the beauty and rightness of all things, in change itself and whatever it may bring. That everything that happens is, there's always something positive. There's always a lesson to be learned in whatever happens. And when we can take responsibility and learn that lesson, and hopefully learn it well enough that we don't have to relive it over and over again, that is where we get our true power. That's when we can really step forward into an amazing life of our own creation. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you very much. And I will see you on the next soul story. Mwah.